what has been the Democratic Republic of Congo Chad province, now becoming part of the province of Africa. She's a finally professed sister and has an experience of an educator for several years. She holds a degree in geography and environmental management from one of the colleges in Kinshasa called Higher Teacher Training Institute of Gombe. And she has worked as a teacher and as a head teacher or a principal in one of our schools in Gombe. She served on the international committee that prepared a document on our philosophy of education. So she comes to share with us a way of her experience as an educator and from her work on the commission that prepared a write-up of our philosophy of education. So Sister Josephine Basaula, you are most welcome. As you noted from the program, each presenter has around 20 minutes. But if you go beyond, I think it's fine. Yes. Sister Josephine.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for having granted me the floor. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone, according to where you are. My sharing today has got 3 points. I'm going to share with you a small personal experience in education. The second point, it is about the work that has been done in the International Commission for Education. And I will end with a small conclusion. Before going to the philosophy and the profile of education as it is wanted by the Sacred Heart, work done by the International Commission, I would like to share my small experience, personal experience, which has been done in the work of education. It is by educating those ones who are entrusted to me that I use the philosophy of Sophie. From the first moments that I had to do the work of education, and with the time that I moved within this work, I understand and I confirm that education is above all loving what we do, but also loving those that we teach. And in other words, to put ourselves in their place in order to feel what they feel. I understood that education is the art of bringing up children. It is the action which continues on them to educate them in order to make them get all the perfection that they are capable of in relation to the society of tomorrow and in which they will be integrated. Some verbs help me to understand this action very well. Education is bringing up, training, informing, conforming, developing, preparing, adapting, leading, sharpening, shaping, perfecting, blossoming, ripening, balancing, updating, leading, guiding, and it continues. From where education has got the objective of giving the spirit and the body all the beauty and perfection that they are capable of. There is a strict relationship between the spirit and the body. That's why the care that we give to the body benefits the spirit. The only education which is good is that one that gives the practice and the experiences of life. I have understood that educating is making an individual an instrument of happiness for himself and for those that are like him. Educating, it is training people clearly for liberty, justice, and peace. That's the Constitution, paragraph 11. In the philosophy of Sophie, everybody must be considered. The educator is called to give education on the progress of the ones he's educating all along there. If necessary, alert on the conduct that the volume is low. Is it at the maximum? I was saying that in the philosophy of Sophie, everybody must be considered. The educator is called to give information on the progress of the ones they are educating all along the year. If necessary, alert on the conduct or the use of those that are being educated. Communicate what is lacking in the students with harmonies. Use without any problem, without getting annoyed, have an iron hand. That is to say, keep the spirit that love does not exclude strictness. Refer to what Maxim of Madeline said. When we are working for the commission, everything started in November 2011 in Taiwan during to the meeting of heads of establishments. A major question had been asked: what makes the difference between education and training that is given at the Sacred Heart, and what characterizes the educator of the Sacred Heart? As a commission, after reading certain documents of the Society on education, especially our constitutions, the theme and the plan of the studies in the Society of the Sacred Heart, the documents of the chapters, the documents of the International Commission of Education of 1988, the tests and conferences of the Mother Stewart, the documents of the society such as Being Artisans of Hope in our World, which is blessed and broken, the documents prepared for the special chapter of 2021, the work of the International Commission of Planning, and others. From several meetings like the commission, we had put in place a booklet that you can see here, where we brought strong points of the philosophy and the profile. Having consulted all these documents, we confirmed that Sophie has really left us a precious gift, or a gift coming from her. We know that education is a process of humanization, and in addition, it is at the center of our mission in the discovery and the manifestation of love from the heart of Jesus. Our perspective as educators, it is to unite our life to the mission where we are. We are called to train ourselves and train other people in the mission in order to know and understand and know and understand what the charisma of Sophie, the spirit of the society,
Okay.
contemplative dimension of our of our educative philosophy, our understanding of education, and the means that we use to communicate the love of God. The education is transformative, but also it is a process of development which is anchored in transformation of values, human values, and Christian values. The co-responsibility must be at the center in programs for the mission for us RSCJ and our collaborators. The strengthening of our perspective as educators must be based on the structure and exchange of resources. We retained paragraphs 10 and 11 of our constitutions to introduce this work because for us, these are points of references in matters of education. The educative project that we use in our schools is inspired by paragraph 11 and remains up to date because our lives, our countries, our church, and the whole world still need these values today. As educators, religious people, and lay people of the Sacred Heart, we have our practices based on the vision of Sophie Barrett. If we have to define the philosophy, we would say simply that it's a study of fundamental principles of an activity, of a practice, or else wisdom acquired from experience. That is what Sophie did. In the philosophy of the Sacred Heart, we got the essential concepts which are at the base of our services as educators of the Sacred Heart that we brought together in 8 points of references. Education is the process of humanization. It takes place within the community whose values are based on solidarity, compassion, and justice. In all that we do, we must feel the human aspect. Education is a way towards transformation. Going through the values in the community leads to a transformation characterized by mutual respect, compassion, hope, and will. Transformation is the action of the Spirit. We should be we should be led by this Spirit. Education is a practice which is in silence. It is in this silence that we start listening. It is in this silence that we develop our sensibility to the mystery. It is in this silence that we develop the capacity to discern what is essential and become people who grow internally. We learn a lot through silence. The education of the Sacred Heart must aim at this aspect. Education is the art of contemplation. Development internally invites us to take time to stop and pray. learn to take a distance to see life in a different context during retreat, recollection, personal prayer, and others. This contemplative regard gives the person the balance and the capacity to face crises and extreme situations that we meet every day. Education and training thinking is critical. Such education allows individuals to become people who are capable of discernment. The aspect of discernment is very important within our mission. The critical spirit does not only see the negative side, but leads to discernment, which has choosing what is useful. Education is an intentional practice as a process of searching for the truth and understanding humanity. Truth is complex. It must involve different perspectives, being able to appreciate and respect the points of view from other people. Education, in education, we are looking for a common horizon. As educators, we respond to realities of our local context by looking at the horizon in order to be one. We engage ourselves to listen deeply the cries of humanity and from all the creation and respond to them by actions of compassion, by giving privilege to those ones who are very vulnerable and fragile. This way of doing things is part of our mission. Education supposes going beyond the borders in order to serve everybody. We feel called to go beyond the different nationalities, languages, and religious traditions. We embrace the universality of humanity. Even in our constitutions talk of new frontiers. What is a profile? It is traits that characterize someone, especially in relation to their aptitudes. We propose this profile in 6 points, like description of our aspirations and our dispositions, such as that we can go through them every day, considering our character and our context. Being people integrated and authentic. We think that it is important to develop the capacity to listen and to dialogue, to be patient and close to one another, to prove autocritic within our educative work, and be ready to learn and to change. Being people in this education vocation, we must respect and promote the person and their growth in all dimensions: affective, spiritual, physical, intellectual, and socio-political. That is integral training. We are attentive to the growth of each person. We accompany them and help them to develop their gifts, their talents, gifts, and their capabilities. We want to have a wider vision which concentrates more on the process than on the immediate results. by encouraging the effort and learning of work that has been done well. We create an community environment by receiving, and we encourage discernment. Being people who live, who go through education as a process of interaction with the world, being attentive to the calls of the world through interaction and dialogue in a sociocultural context, knowing how to analyze the current realities. In other words, knowing how to read the signs of time. Being people who are engaged in that continuous training, having this continuous training in order to be competent within our services of educationists, using tools efficiently and the processes of evaluation within our educative practice, encouraging cooperation, exchange, and active engagement, putting into consideration our local realities and the context of the world communities, because the world has become a small village. Globalization, yes, but see how to use the globalization in its context, in its culture, without losing our values, our cultures, and our points of references. Being people who work in a team, we would like that our way of relations in our teams are marked by reciprocity. Let us be open to give and receive. We appreciate the attitudes and solidarity in interests. Such attitudes create a synergy amongst us. We engage to work in favor of reconciliation and peace. Being people who live in generosity and joy, we think that the vision of Sophie in matters of education is anchored in a spirit of generosity and deep appreciation of joy. In conclusion, all those, what we've talked about, philosophy and profile, must help us to open, to work in our mission, evaluate us from this document if we study it in depth and go by it. Each RSCJ and collaborator must be capable of criticizing themselves or evaluating themselves to see if they respond to the demands of the philosophy of education and the profile of the educator of the Sacred Heart. As for the continuous training of educators of the Sacred Heart, it is essential to transmit the vision of Sophie. If the program of training in the mission must consider cultural specificities, the training of educators of the Sacred Heart has certain universal elements, that is to say, that we cannot avoid them. It's an obligation, and that demands a personal effort. Knowing Sophie, the spirit and charisma of the Society of Sacred Heart, the calls for apostolic priorities to vitalize the mission of the Society of the Sacred Heart, refer to International Commission of Planning. We are called also to defend the fundamental values, which are co-responsibility, collaboration, integration, transformation, subsidiarity, that is to say, delegating power. These directives are not simply for those who are working in schools, like we often think. We are all educators, no matter what we are doing. We are called to educate ourselves and to educate those who we are in charge of. According to me, the gift of Sophie, it's a tool which must train us and allow us to transmit the spirit to others. It's work done by humans. We have not tackled all the points. We are sure that we have not said everything. Let's read more the documents of the society. It is a way of enriching us and training ourselves. Dear sisters, dear brothers, collaborators, at our level, that's what we planned to share with you today. If you have questions, we shall try to give some elements in response. We thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sister Josephine. Maybe we can give her a word of appraisal, kind of like some kind of a sign that we appreciate her sharing with us.
Applaudissons notre sœur.
Thank you very much
Merci
for enriching
beaucoup
us
pour
with this
nous avoir enrichis
exhaustive reflection
avec
on our
ces
philosophy
réflexions
of
portant sur
education.
notre
We are very
philosophie
grateful.
d'éducation.
There is
Nous
quite
en
a
sommes
lot
très
she has
reconnaissants.
shared,
Elle a beaucoup
and it will
partagé
not be fair
et
to repeat what she has shared, but I promise we'll share her reflection, her document, what she has shared with us, so that you can read more to deepen what she has talked to us. Now, if you have what she has said, any comment or question, this is the moment. We have 10 minutes to hear those comments or questions. I hope you know how to raise the hand.
We are going to ask the interpreters to increase the volume because some people were not able to hear Peter well. So if they are talking kindly, increase the volume or the voice.
Is there anyone who yes, not clapping of the hand. Is there anyone who wants to make a comment or to ask a question? Yes.
I want, but I tried. This is Seco, but it is not raising. My hand is a bit. My hand is have a problem. I'm Seco.
Yes.
Are you
Yes,
hearing
Sister
me?
Seko. Yes, we are hearing you, Sister Seko.
Yes. Yes. I would like to appreciate very much Sister Elizabeth. Josephine? Yes. Josephine, for the sharing. It is so rich. And I was really, every sentence I said, this is who we are. However, to cut, to be brief, I was, she talked about listening to the signs of time, but what is her view? What is the impact of AI on our education philosophy? Which, in my view, when we are getting with our students who are using AI, there is no much critical thinking and innovation in a process, so that you are looking for the easy answers. What is the impact of AI? Am I clear?
Sister Josephine, I hope you have heard the question. There was interpretation. Sister Josephine, are you still on?
She wants to have all the questions together.
Okay, okay. Then another question, if any.
There was also somewhere.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Ursula is talking, but she's muted.
Sister Josephine, maybe you can answer Sister Seko's question while we wait for others.
Josephine is not on. Josephine is not on. Ursula,
Okay.
unmute yourself, please.
Maybe
Seko, we can't hear you.
She can't.
Seko, we'll answer your question later. We'll answer your question later when Sister Josephine has come back online. Any other question? I've taken a note of it, Seko. Any? Yes, Sarah.
Yes, my question would just be for Sister Josephine. Do they use Sophie's Gift in the schools in your new province? Will that be something that the educators will have access to and reflect on?
Okay. I have written it down. Right now, I think Sister Josephine has a problem with the connection. She's not on. But when she comes back, we are going to attend to that question. I have written it down. Thank you, Sarah. Any other question?
Elizabeth. Betty?
Yes, please.
It seems Ursula wants to speak.
Yes, Ursula, unmute and speak. Unmute and speak. You are still muted, Ursula.
Sister Betty?
Yes, she's still muted.
I propose the host to unmute sister so that sister can speak. The host can do the unmuting.
I can only ask herself to unmute herself. Okay, now she's okay.
We can speak. Oh, yes. Okay, Elizabeth.
Yes.
we could not enter. And they said the number is limited. What can I do? My God.
We have a challenge with the number. I think the Zoom was configured for 100 people. It was
Oh
not
my
realized.
gosh.
So that was the problem, that even some sisters have been locked out.
Wow.
Yes. It's a
Okay, thank
problem
you.
we didn't foresee. We'll do better next time. Maybe we will share.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes. So we are very sorry about it. That many people are not able to join because they can't. They are locked out. So maybe since Josephine is not yet back to respond to these questions, can we just take 1 minute of breathe and then we welcome Sister Maureen? Just 1 minute. Okay. Josephine, you are back? Okay, Sister Josephine, before we close this section, you have 2 questions. One, Sister Seko asked how AI is interfering with the philosophy of education and what we can do. Then the second question was asked by Sarah, that are we using the Sophie's gift in the schools, in our schools? So would you like to briefly say something about that and then we move on?
I did not understand the first question, she says.
Secondina, can you please repeat your question to Josephine on
Est-ce que vous pouvez
AI?
répondre la question portant sur l'intelligence artificielle?
Sorry. Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
My concern was on the impact of AI, which does not allow much of critical thinking and innovation into our educational philosophy. So the impact of AI in our educational on our educational philosophy.
And what about the second question? She's wondering.
The second question was Sarah asked whether we are using the Sophie's gift in our schools. Sarah, would you like to say a little bit more about it? Sarah?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
can I answer? She's wondering. Oh.
Sarah is going to
Thank
clarify
you.
her
Thank
question.
you. She's already talking. I'm going to talk about AI. It is true that AI has a lot of impact on the education. And regarding the Sophie's gift, we mentioned that that is our work as educators. The critical thinking, because what AI does, we don't just take it as it is. And for us, we have to ensure that we explain the critical thinking has to be inculcated for each person. But here we're talking about discernment. We can only, sorry, there is a lot of noise, a lot of interference from other microphones. I cannot hear the answer. There is a lot of interference from other people. Sorry, I cannot interpret. So we need to focus on this, the critical thinking. Sorry, there is a lot of interference from other people. I don't know whether somebody can close those microphones. So we need to tell our students that everything they see on the AI is not something to take. Now, that is spoiling our system. The second question, where you wanted to know if Sophie's gift is used in our schools, I think that is our worry for us as a commission. We have put in place this document, and it is up to us as partners who have to use this document so that we are able to apply what is required. How do we have to present separate heart education, and how is the educator supposed to present themselves? That's why we talk about the philosophy, that which is characterizing us, and the profile that has to be with us in order for us to be able to educate our learners basing on Sophie's gift. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Josephine. And I would like us to move to the next topic for our presentations today because of the time factor. Our next panelist or speaker or presenter is Sister Maureen Gravin. Sister Maureen is one of the Sisters of the Sacred Heart from the United States of America and speaking to us from Boston. It must be very early in the morning for her. So, Sister Maureen, we are privileged that she lived in Africa before she became a sister. She worked in Tanzania and taught in one of our schools. Sister Maureen joined the society at the time when St. Philippine Duchesne was colonized, and that is a very significant mark for her. But apart from that, Sister Maureen is an educator. She has taught in several schools in the United States, and she has been a principal or a head teacher for at least 3 of our schools in the United States of America. Currently, she's on the provincial council in the U.S., Canada province, after having served for some good years in the District of Philippines, helping our younger sisters there to become truly RSCJs. Sister Maureen, you are most welcome, and thank you for giving us this opportunity of hearing you talk to us about living our mission in the future. As many of you are aware, we are becoming a new province of Africa, and that is a significant movement that before all our provinces were 2 countries like Congo, Chad, then Uganda, Kenya, but now the 4 countries are becoming 1 province under 1 leadership. So thank you very much, Maureen, for accepting to speak to us about how we can live our mission into the future of our new province. You are most welcome.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And greetings from North America and from the current province of the United States and Canada. I am really honored to be with you all. Give me 1 second screen because I do have a PowerPoint, and I had some help with the French in the PowerPoint, and I hope it works. Slideshow from beginning. Okay. All right. So what I hope to do in my short 20 minutes with you is to connect our charism and our mission with the inevitable human transformation process, which carries us into the future. So let me begin with the concept of charism. Father Joseph Driscoll, in an article called Harnessing Our Power Through Charism, describes charism as the real presence of the Holy Spirit. It is, he writes, a unique gift to the founder which meets a need in a specific time and specific circumstance that attracts others. For me, it's really important to point out that the specific time and circumstance of Sophie was an amazingly powerful moment in human history. In fact, it's considered one of the really profound turning points in the development of human thinking. It was a moment of enormous social transformation. I'm not going to go through every single point here, but I think you all know this already, that philosophically, huge changes in terms of the worldview moving into modernity, reason becoming important, political changes, social changes, religious changes. While these new ideas were all bubbling into French history, French society, as you all know, experienced the horror of the Reign of Terror. In the years right after the Reign of Terror, she moved to Paris with her brother. Just to provide an image of the world Sophie lived in at that time, in Paris, there was a population of around 500,000 people. Of that number, 100,000, or 20% of the population, were homeless women and children. So, what was the Holy Spirit's gift to Sophie? It was simply this: God's love. Our charism is love. Perhaps it's too obvious to state, but clearly our charism truly met the need of the time in which Sophie lived. When we read her writings, she wrote about God's love not as someone who was talking about some philosophical idea. She was communicating something she tasted, she touched, she felt deeply. She knew God's love as an intimate, personal experience. And of course, the Spirit of love, the Spirit of Jesus, the Holy Spirit that enlivened Sophie is the same Spirit that enlivens us and is known to us through our experience. Now, shifting a bit, I want to mention that while the nature of charism is a gift of the Spirit, the purpose of charism is service. Because of our charism, we have a mission. We all know it. According to our constitutions, we're sent by the church to communicate the love of the heart of Jesus. Well, how do we do that? How do we communicate the love of the heart of Jesus? First, we discover it, then we reveal it. I want to say a little word about each. The discovery of God's love, we continue to deepen that discovery of God's love, of God's self, the discovery of love itself, of course, in multiple ways. Again, I'm not going to name each and every one of these. You know them in your own lives. But here's the thing. To have any of these experiences of God's love, we must be open. Sometimes circumstances rip open our hearts in great suffering. Sometimes our hearts are burst open in great love. And sometimes we choose open-heartedness consciously. But here's the problem. It's not always easy to make that choice. This is weird, but I want everyone to try this. Please just open your arms wide. Just do that for me. Even doing that is not easy. Why don't we open ourselves up if there's an ultimate advantage to doing so? There are many reasons why we don't choose to do so. Often we're protecting ourselves from being hurt, or we just don't take the time, or we don't prioritize the potential encounter as important, or perhaps we don't even think it's possible to have such an encounter. But if we're open, transformation on a personal level is possible. What we're opening ourselves to is power, the power of the Spirit. According to our constitutions, the Spirit dwelling within us gradually transforms us, enabling us through his power, through the Spirit's power, to remove whatever hinders his action. The Spirit is what unites and conforms us to Jesus. Now, the second aspect of our mission flows from the first. That is, we're not only invited to connect with, i.e., discover the source of all that is, love's very source, love's very self, with a capital S, we're also invited to be the face of that love for each other. In other words, we're invited to reveal God's love through our own lives and our own loves. Another way of saying the same thing is we're not just called to worship the person of Jesus, but rather we are called to put on the mind and heart of Christ today. The heart and mind of Christ is the Spirit of God and is the Holy Spirit. So I love the symbolism of our current logo. It so reflects our spirituality, an open heart with the cross. So, quick summary so far. Personal transformation, more reflective of the heart and mind of Christ, occurs when we are open, whether it's because we accept those moments when we're broken open by love or suffering, or when we choose to open ourselves through prayer or doing inner work. Okay, now let's talk about that very same process, but on the cosmic level. Let's talk about evolution and transformation. On page 24 of our chapter document, transformation and evolution were talked about in the same breath. Transformation and evolution, the document says, are two intertwined forces that shape the cosmos, life, and human consciousness. I think we all get that transformation and evolution shape the cosmos. It's easy to see that first-generation stars, rich with smaller atoms of hydrogen and helium, exploded or died, to produce atoms of larger elements that eventually became us through the course of 13 or so billion years of cycles of births and deaths and rebirths. And I think we also get that there were leaps of what were called threshold moments in the evolution of the universe. Those key moments occurred when something entirely new and more complex emerged, like the emergence of life, for example. So one thing I really want to emphasize, and I think you probably also know this, is that evolution is still happening. New levels of complexity are still emerging on planet Earth. That emergence into new levels of complexity is happening now in human consciousness. Interestingly, well, perhaps interestingly, research on how human transformation happens, both individually and collectively. Let me just mute that. Okay. Both individually and collectively is becoming more and more common. In preparation for the 2024 chapter, I think many of us remember using the research and work of Otto Scharmer. His theory U is in fact a framework for the transformation process. The description of his process is very much a description of what happens in prayer or discernment. Scharmer's thesis is all about how groups access another level of awareness. He describes the process using the language of letting go by opening, there's that word again, opening one's mind with curiosity, opening one's heart with compassion, and opening one's will with courage. Interestingly, this MIT professor, I'm going to mute that again. This MIT professor, IT in this instance stands for Institute of Technology. This MIT professor is describing a very spiritual process. I think it's instructive to see how Scharmer describes the opposite of openness. The opposite of an open mind, he calls judgment. The opposite of an open heart, he calls cynicism. And the opposite of an open will, he calls fear. There are many theorists and authors and writers and spiritual leaders who affirm this ongoing process of the human journey and emergence into more complexity. But they all wrap different language around it. One great spiritual writer, also quoted a few times in the chapter document, is Jesuit paleontologist Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. One of Teilhard's themes was that humanity is evolving towards higher states of consciousness, leading ultimately to divine union, which he called the Omega point. So now let's talk about our world today. Many thought leaders propose that on the planet right now, we are on the verge of, or in the beginning stages of, yet another major worldview shift, another societal or collective leap into the evolution or development or transformation of human consciousness. Some people are describing this shift as big as the one that Sophie lived through. As I mentioned, Sophie navigated consciousness's emergence into the modern era. Some say the modern worldview or modern consciousness. That shift into modernity was a necessary corrective to problems that were prevalent in the traditional or medieval worldview. When she entered into modernity, it's important to note that she did not let go of the best of her traditional worldview. In other words, I don't know if you use this phrase, but we sometimes say here, she did not toss out the baby with the bathwater. Another thing I want to say is that while modernity contributed much to improving the quality of life for people, this new consciousness of modernity over time also created its own set of problems. I think you all know them. Just to name a few: devastating destruction of the earth, loss of species, consolidation of wealth in the hands of a few. These are just a few of the downsides of modernity. In places where modernity's downside became extreme, newer and different values began to emerge, values that were themselves a corrective to modernity's downsides. This newer emergent worldview embraced a more world-centric perspective, characterized, for example, care of the earth and all her people, consensus decision-making, and a more pluralistic worldview. This worldview is called by many as postmodern consciousness. Over the last 70 years or so, even this most recent perspective or way of thinking has brought its own set of problems or issues into the world. These issues, the downsides or negatives of postmodernism, also need a corrective. What are the downsides of postmodernity? Well, here's a few: relativism and the loss of truth, cynicism, paralysis of action, undermining community and tradition and meta-narratives, ethical confusion. I don't know if you all are experiencing any of these negative sides of postmodernity where you live, but in North America, it's very prevalent. In fact, we're in a very unique situation in world history right now, in that on planet Earth right now, we're living in an era where some people embrace traditional values as their dominant worldview. Some people embrace more modern values as their dominant worldview. And some people embrace postmodern values as their dominant worldview. And they all think they're right. Thus, the culture wars. The fact is, each of these perspectives is right. Each perspective has a truth or brings a gift to the consciousness of humanity. At the same time, each emergent worldview or value system, when lived without integrating the best of that which preceded it, becomes unhealthy. Here's the good news. When Sophie entered into modernity, she did so by integrating the best of that which preceded modernity. In other words, while encouraging the study of science in her schools, she did not let go of her traditional value system. She did what consciousness developmentalists call transcend and include. She moved into a new way of thinking without letting go of the best of the previous way of thinking. Many good and wise RSCJs of the second half of the previous century entered fully into healthy post-modernity, while including the best of modernity and the best of traditionalism. In other words, they were able to critique the downsides of modernity while doing so without letting go of traditional values, also while not letting go of valuing the best of modern science, appreciating medicine and technology. Again, they were able to integrate value systems by transcending and including. So now the question is, how do we deal with the downsides of post-modernity? According to Albert Einstein, hold on, I'm just going to mute that. Okay. According to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Einstein is implying that genuine change requires a new perspective, a broader consciousness, or a different framework of thinking, rather than just trying harder with the old system. So, to solve the problems of our world today, we need to embrace the future. We really must be open to transformation and evolution of our current consciousness. How does this apply to our vocations? Well, Carol Zinn, who is the executive director of the Leadership Conference of Women Religious in the United States, has written about evolution of consciousness. Allow me to quote her from a 2012 article in Occasional Papers. "We are living in a time of unprecedented evolution of consciousness and conscious evolution." She suggests that we could be forwarding the evolution of human consciousness and conscious evolution by our very own vocations. With others who are attentive to these evolutionary times, we have the opportunity to contribute to this profound evolutionary event by our very lives and our every choice. She goes on to say, when we get to the point of openness and vulnerability, we are providing space for that which is emergent. What is she basically saying? I think she's saying that if we are open enough to our own personal transformation, we can help in bringing forth a societal transformation. And by transformation, I mean bringing us collectively into another level of conscious awareness, another worldview, one which can solve the problems of the previous way of thinking, and that is worth working towards. At the conclusion of the general chapter, Claire encouraged us in the Society of the Sacred Heart to embrace the future with hope. Echoing that theme in a litany of invitations to us to return unceasingly to our source, to welcome this moment as a crossroads of grace, to embrace our vulnerability with hearts wide open, to rediscover the soul and prophetic power of community, to be open to new ways of doing things. Looking over the billions of years of death and rebirth and growth and transformation of our cosmos and life on this planet, I do choose to embrace the future with hope. Moments of death and epochs of difficulty eventually give rise to something new, something emergent, yet another leap on the road to full union and communion with love's very self. So I guess my message is this: let's try to be open so that we can let the power of the Spirit work through us and our actions and our capacity to live mission well. May we participate in the ongoing transformation of our world to the fullness of Christ among us. Thank you and merci beaucoup.
My goodness. Thank you very much, Maureen. What a rich experience sharing. Thank you very much. I think all of us, you have left us with many questions to reflect on, to ponder, especially as we move forward. Thank you very much. Anybody who would like to say something or to make a comment about what Sister Maureen has shared? It's so rich that when something has been so rich like that, it is not easy for one to begin summarizing and in just a few words. Anybody who would like to comment? And like Josephine, I think will be able to share. Sister Maureen is sharing, and also the sharing is recorded. Just amidst us, I have noted that we have also the provincial of the US, Sister Susanna Cook, is around. Sister Susanna, welcome, and we are very happy to have you here. Sister Susanna, you are most welcome. We are delighted to have you on this platform, on this conference.
If I can send a link to the house. That
Someone wants to say something? Maybe nobody feels wants to say something because you have been so clear, very, very clear and very systematic. And I think the following has been very, very interesting. And there's quite a lot to learn and to reflect on. We are very grateful. Thank you very much, Sister Maureen.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Yes. So now I would like to ask us to take some maybe 10 minutes, or 10 minutes is much. Can we take 5 minutes? And then we'll welcome Madam Sarah Cassidy from Canada, again, USC province. Let's take just 5 minutes to pause while reflecting on what we have just heard from Sister Maureen and before from Sister Josephine, and then we move on to two other presenters. Again, we'll have a short break. Okay, meanwhile, okay. Sarah is joining us from all the way from Canada, Halifax, I think in the province or state of Nova Scotia. And she's an old student of the Society of the Sacred Heart from a school in Halifax. And apart from being an alumni of the Sacred Heart, Sarah is also an associate of the Society of the Sacred Heart. She's a mother and married, and she has done so many things. Maybe I would ask her maybe to say just briefly more about herself before we she dives into sharing with us about what it means to be an associate of the Society of the Sacred Heart. Sarah, you are most welcome. And thank you for giving us the time and for waking up very early to be here with us at this hour.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Elizabeth. I do have a PowerPoint that I would like to share, and I will put that on the screen now. Can you see it?
Yes,
Okay.
we can see it.
Okay, so I am humbled and grateful to be here as a panelist today. I feel a deep sense of connection to the Uganda, Kenya province. And I have great hope and love for your new province of Africa. My personal connection to Uganda, Kenya province is through a shared relationship with Sister Margie Conroy, who taught my sister at the Convent of the Sacred Heart in Halifax. And I met her later on as an alumni when she would return home to Halifax and share her mission with us and share her life and her ministry that she had in Uganda, Kenya. Sister Jo Wright, I know, is on this call, and I want to acknowledge her as well. She is great to come home and to tell us what work she is doing. But like many of you, I miss Sister Margie Conroy, and I feel very privileged to have known her. She was a great person who revealed the love of the heart of Jesus through education and through her other ministries. She was a real role model. I'd like to thank Sister Elizabeth and Sister Noelina for this invitation and the organizers for this important online conference. And I am very glad to be here. For the next few minutes, excuse me, I will share a bit about myself and my journey to becoming an associate. I will offer an overview of how one becomes an associate in the United States Canada province, who we are, and how we participate in the life and the mission of the society in our province and internationally. I just want to mention this photo that is on my PowerPoint. It was taken in July of 2025 at the Associate Gathering in St. Charles. It's in front of the Academy of the Sacred Heart School, and also where the shrine of St. Rose Philippine Duchesne is. I will talk about this gathering a little bit later in my PowerPoint. I can go to the next one. Not good at advancing this. Page down. Page down. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So a little bit about myself. My husband, Patrick, and I live in Halifax in a condominium across the street from the Sacred Heart School, a place that is deeply woven in my life. I graduated from the school in 1976, as did my two older sisters, and later my two daughters attended. Today, my two grandsons continue this cherished family tradition. The Barra Spirituality Center, located on the school grounds, is a ministry of the Religious of the Sacred Heart and home for 3 RSCJs. Our Halifax associate group is especially fortunate to gather there each month for our meetings in a space that reflects the spirit and legacy of St. Madeleine Sophie that we hold dear. My Sacred Heart education was rooted in Sophie's vision. These religious women of the Sacred Heart, my teachers, were intelligent, inspiring women who set me on a transformational path. From the moment I walked through the doors of the Convent of the Sacred Heart, I felt as though I had come home to a place grounded in love, rich in tradition, shaped by prayer, and committed to service. My journey to becoming an associate began with Sister Margaret Conley, my English teacher, in 1970. We reconnected in 2010 through my involvement on the Alumni Association. And at one of those meetings, she handed me an associate brochure and invited me to learn more. At the time, I was a busy mother of 2 young girls, working full-time while helping my sister with my aging mother and also my in-laws. Trying to balance so many responsibilities, I didn't feel it was the right time to take on anything more. Little did I know it was exactly the invitation that I needed to accept. I reached a point where the injustices and the suffering in the world felt overwhelming. I needed to find a deeper place. I had a longing to have a deeper connection to God and to others. And I thought of the Sacred Heart spirituality that I had experienced as a student. When I finally made an inquiry, I was invited to a come and see at Barra Spirituality Center. There I was welcomed by Sister Donna Dolan and Sister Norma Heffernan, both of whom had been teachers of mine in the 1970s. I came to the meeting and I found a sacred space. I found people that I knew I needed to belong with and learn more from. Patricia Nichols, who worked at the school, she and I entered a year of discernment, a time of deep listening, reflection, and a growing understanding of how the mission of St. Madeleine Sophie continues to be relevant today. During that year, we shared in the life of the RSCJ and the other Halifax associates, celebrating feast days, concentrating on the constitutions of the Religious of the Sacred Heart.
Sorry, we need to mute those who are speaking.
Okay. Okay. Can I speak again? All right. So during that year, we came to have a better understanding of the charism that unites us. So charism is a gift of the Holy Spirit given to a person for the good of the church. For St. Madeleine Sophie, this gift was an enduring conviction that God is in love with us. And from this conviction grew a vision, one that called her to help others encounter that same freely given, unconditional love. That vision lives on today as the mission of the society, to discover and reveal God's love in the heart of the world. Over the course of that year, I came to embrace this charism, which nurtures a life of prayer, as Sophie called it, interior life. In 2018, on the Feast of the Sacred Heart, I made my first commitment as an associate, and I have renewed my commitment each year as I continue on this journey. Who is an associate? An associate of the Sacred Heart is a woman or man who seeks to live out the Sacred Heart spirituality in the midst of their everyday life. There is a profound bond between the religious of the Sacred Heart and associates, grounded in the shared charism that was first embodied by St. Madeleine Sophie. Together, we give witness to the love of God as it is expressed in Jesus, in humanity, and in all of creation. This love calls us into something more. It invites us to collaborate in God's transforming work within our own lives and in the world around us, through community, through prayer, and through action. Who are these women and men who are associates? They are educators, they are staff at our school, they are parents, grandparents, friends. They are individuals who have lived in community with Religious of the Sacred Heart, or they have come to know them through their ministries. They are seekers, people on a spiritual journey who feel drawn to learn more about the charism of the society. They are people whose lives have been touched by and witnessed the good works of associates and RSCJs. When I invite someone to a come and see, or ask them if they'd like to learn more about associates, I often hear responses like this. Oh no, I am not holy enough. No, I'm a doer, not a person who prays. Oh, I can't be an associate. I'm not a Catholic. These responses reflect some misconceptions. Being an associate isn't about already being holy enough, having a perfect prayer life, or fitting into a mold. It is about being open to growth, to a relationship with God, and to the charism first lived by Sophie. Associates come with different gifts and life experiences. Some are drawn through action, others through prayer, but over time, both deepen and enrich one another. And while the Sacred Heart spirituality is rooted in Catholic tradition, the invitation is wider. It is for those who feel called to live this way of living God's love in the world. The process of becoming an associate begins quite simply. It starts with a personal invitation from an RSCJ or an associate. It may also begin as a quiet stirring within. It starts with an individual seeking something in this way of life that speaks to their heart. It starts with a desire to explore further and deeper and to see where that invitation may lead. Not everyone lives near an associate group. The invitation is still accessible. Associates in the United States Canada province offer a welcoming point of entry. The Religious of the Sacred Heart website provides an associate portal. Interested individuals can submit a form to request more information. This is initial inquiry, and it's our first step. A personal connection develops next. Co-chairs connect with individuals. A Zoom conversation is arranged. And you discuss where your journey is and where you are and what you're looking for and what is the knowledge you have of the Sacred Heart. When this connection is made, we connect the individual inquiring to our co-coordinators to see if there is a community that they can join. And then the co-coordinators meet with this individual, extend an invitation to come in person to a group meeting or participate in one of our 2 virtual groups. From inquiry comes initial formation and later ongoing formation. We are currently working on an initial formation program that was shared with us from the Mexican RSCJ and Associates last year in our July gathering. Associates, as associates, we are organized with a shared leadership model. Co-chairs, initial formation team, co-coordinators liaison team, and a communication liaison lead. Each associate group is guided by one of 2 co-coordinators who are responsible for the life and the organization of the group. Over the past 30 years, co-coordinators have often been in partnership with RSCJ and a lay associate. But in recent years, some of our groups no longer have an RSCJ directly embedded in them. Even so, co-coordinators carry on the day-to-day activities and collaborate with RSCJs. Today, we have 15 active associate groups, including 2 that are fully virtual. And across these groups, we have 186 committed associates, 2 that are currently discerning, and 31 RSCJs. How do we participate in the life and mission of the society, both within our province and internationally? The United States Canada Associates work as one body to further the mission of the society in close collaboration with the RSCJs. Over the past 3 years, we were blessed with many rich province-wide experiences for formation and opportunities. Sister Suzanne Cook, our provincial, presented a Zoom webinar on the philosophy of Sacred Heart education, Sophie's Gift, our call to the future. This was referenced by Sister Josephina. We have had busy persons retreats, a growth of new associate groups, and we had the celebration of the anniversary of Sophie's canonization. Each of these opportunities invite associates to deepen their relationship, listen more attentively to the Spirit, and live out love in action in meaningful new ways. A highlight of 2025 was the July gathering, the photo I showed you earlier, Together as One Heart, which was held in St. Charles, Missouri. This opportunity came from a desire of our associates to get to know the Mexican associates who would be part of our new province, ANAM, Antilles, North America, and Mexico, which will happen in 2027. This gathering brought 42 United States Canada Associates and RSCJs, including 12 participants from Mexico, along with Sister Noelina from the Central Team, Sister Clara Malo, Provincial from Mexico, and Suzanne Cook, our Provincial from the United States, Canada. The experience fostered a vibrant spirit of connection, an energy rooted in shared prayer, and a renewed commitment to living the transforming love of God, and a better understanding of culture and spirituality that we have in common. From the foundational document, Sophie's Gift, we United States Canada Associates reflect on our vocation and how it opens us to the movement of the Holy Spirit and deepens our commitment to the mission. From this reflection, we have shaped a profile of a Sacred Heart associate, one that expresses who we are. We are called to be persons of integrity and ethnicity, to be persons who understand the vocation of an associate, which differs from the RSCJ vocation. Our commitment is for 1 year and we renew it as we choose. To be persons engaged with and in the world, which means living with compassion and responsibility towards others and society. To be persons committed to ongoing formation, which means deepening our spiritual life and living the mission in charism. To be persons who live in mutual accompaniment with the RSCJ, sharing in their spirituality, and to be persons of generosity and joy. So some examples of the things we do as associates are offering support to unhoused people by preparing food, clothing, and personal care items, standing in solidarity with RSCJ in promoting peace and justice, working with those that are caring for the world and our environment, writing reflections to share on feast days, organizing acts of kindness. In conclusion, I hope I have given you some insight into becoming an associate. Thank you for the opportunity to share my experience. Being an associate is a deeply meaningful part of my interior life and my ongoing formation. And I would like to know more. If any of you would like to know more, I would be happy to respond to any questions. Thank you very much.
Wow. Maybe you can stop sharing.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for this reflection on becoming an associate and who is an associate. Actually, it has been a big question, especially for members in the Uganda-Kenya province, where we don't have associates, but in the Democratic Republic of Congo, they have associates. And this has been a very eye-opening experience, and probably many people are going to begin thinking about becoming an associate, especially our alumni and educators who are here attending this conference. Thank you very much for this, the experience and the highlighting about who is an associate. Now, maybe we give this moment to some questions. If anybody has a comment or a question, we have a little bit of space for that. And maybe before that, I would like to acknowledge many people who are here. I can see Sister Keria Platt, our former Superior General. I can see many associates and alumni from the United States of America and many other visitors. So every one of you, please feel welcome. We are most welcome to join us and to be part of this significant event for the province of Africa. So any question or comment? Yes, Sylvia. Sylvia, you have a question?
Sister, I just clapped for the information here.
Okay. So my goodness. If anybody has a question, please write it down. Maybe we'll have a moment towards the end to answer it or for Sarah to respond to it. I'm sure there is quite a lot of curiosity and
There are several questions,
wonder.
Betty, if we can take them. Seko was
I
here,
don't see
Susan,
them.
Rosemary.
Can you?
Seko.
Suzanne, Rosemary, Mawete.
Then there
Oh my
is
goodness,
also Duchenne.
Okay, I don't see them. If you are seeing them, can you call them one by one?
Okay,
Goretti? I
let's
would be very
begin
grateful.
with the Seko. She was the first one, then is Susanna, then Rosemary, then Mawete and Duchenne. Seko, you are welcome.
Yes.
Seko, we can't hear you.
Maybe, can you take Rosemary?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, now we can hear you. Seko, maybe you can work on your audio as we get another question from a question from another person. Rosemary?
Yes. Hello, Rosemary.
Can't hear her.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Can we move on to Mawete?
Members
Oh my God.
unmute original audio so that you can hear them. Rosemary, go ahead.
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes.
No, mine is just a comment. I heard sister said in Uganda we don't have associates. And I remember when we were making our constitution, we
Can
put
you
it
write
clearly.
your questions in the chat?
For me, mine is just a comment.
Betty?
Hello?
Yes, you
Can you
can go
hear me?
ahead. Those who can't hear Rosemary, please unmute original audio.
Mine is a comment. Hello?
Go ahead, Rosemary.
Mine is a comment. I heard sisters saying in Uganda we don't have associates. And I remember when we were making our Iwasha constitution, under membership, there is a clause that all teachers are associates. So we have them. The only problem, they are not so active. That is just a comment. Thank you so much.
Have you got the comments?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Rosemary, thank you for your comment. But if you have heard, to become an associate is a process. And as Uganda, we have never had that process of preparing the people to become associates. That's the difference. But we'll do that. Thank you very much for that comment. Sister Maweti?
Mute. Mute. Mute, Annie. Micro. Annie, il faut activer le micro.
Unmute Annie. Okay.
Dear Sister Betty, I propose that you kindly guide the participants to write their comments in the chat room because it looks like the audios have issues.
The
Many
audios
may
people
have
don't
clicked,
know.
yes, because of clicking there on interpretation, then muting. There could have been technical errors that happened that are making it so hard for the moderator and the host to
These
listen
ones
to the
have
participants.
connection issues. Maybe you can get a Seko, then we continue. Seko?
Seko, are you ready? There is Duchenne Mission and there is somebody RSCJ at NP.
Can you hear us from Seko?
Yes. Yes.
All right, very good. So this is Nakato speaking, and we just wanted a little more elaboration on the difference between a collaborator and an associate. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. So an associate goes through a period of formation, initial formation, and it requires them to attend meetings every month. It requires them to pray deeply, to participate in the life of an associate in conjunction with an RSCJ, to study the documents of St. Madeleine Sophie, to look at other foundational documents such as Artisans of Hope, Sophie's Gift, and to participate in their spiritual journey, to come to the end of a year and decide and apply to the coordinators and to the religious that they are ready to make a commitment, which is renewable each year. I believe collaborators are within various ministries within the Sacred Heart family, and they might be working in various provincial offices, or they might be working with the schools, but they do not make that commitment. They are not on the spiritual journey in accompaniment with the Religious of the Sacred Heart. They are on their own journey, but it is as members of partnership or collaboration with the Sacred Heart family. Does that answer your question?
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
you answered it very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then Duchenne,
Okay,
Mission School.
Mission School. The first question is, can a teacher be an associate?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. The second question, how long does it take for one to be an associate?
As I mentioned, you go through initial formation, you make a decision to make a commitment, and each year you continue to decide that you will renew that commitment. And you're pursuing your own journey on this spiritual journey, and it's in conjunction with the Religious of the Sacred Heart. So I have been an associate since 2018. In our Halifax associate group, some of our associates who are past heads of school, past staff, past educators, have been in our associate group for 20 years. So each year
thank you.
they make their commitment and they continue on their ongoing formation.
Correct.
There is a question that what are the limitations to becoming an associate?
The limitations. Well, we look more positively and welcoming and accessible than limitations. I would have to hear what someone is saying is a limitation, because we are open to all that are inquiring and want to have a deeper spiritual life.
Okay, time is not. Can we go to development office? I think that's the red rate community.
There was within first.
Oh, within, okay.
Merci Sarah, nous avons suivi votre expérience. Je suis Batuzengila Simon de la RDC, associé
from
RDC.
DRC, associate from DRC.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask if there is a structure that exists where the associates
Is the question, you're wondering if there is a structure for associates? I'm not sure I understand the question. We have a yes. Oh, okay. So we do have a handbook. We have an associate handbook. So it is a process to inform people what are the stages of your initial formation, what are your requirements, and that you would be willing to participate in monthly meetings, to have a deeper prayer life, to participate in feast days with the Religious of the Sacred Heart. So there is a structure as far as becoming an associate, but there is also a structure for our United States, Canada, which I explained the number of groups that we have, and we have virtual opportunities, and we have in-person meetings, as well as trying to think, just the structure of our leadership team. So we can go from an overall umbrella of the leadership team that offers opportunity for formation, but each group, each associate group is diverse. Some are more apostolic, some are more contemplative, and some are both. So we don't direct people in these groups. We offer our overall formation and mission through the Religious of the Sacred Heart, but each group is very diverse. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I'm satisfied.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there ways of corresponding to get those experiences there, the general experiences?
Yes. Yes.
Sharing experiences?
Yes, there
for us
is.
who are just who have hardly started.
The easiest point of entry is through our associate portal, where you would fill a form and say
We need
what
that
your
experience.
intentions are or what your questions are, and we would respond to you and share any resources that we have that you are willing to be open to. I'd like to just invite Suzanne Cook if she has anything she wants to add to what I'm saying.
Yes, I was going to invite Sister Susanna to say something, and the rest maybe as we are moving into becoming a new province, we'll have more opportunity even of inviting Sarah to talk more about associates. Let's hear from Sister Susanna and then move into the next presentation because of time.
Yes, thank you all. And Sarah, thank you. You did a very good job. Associates really need to remember the difference is a personal commitment to the life of prayer and the belief that one's actions are rooted in prayer. We are happy to share the different models from the United States Canada province, and we also will share with you the model in Mexico, which is a little different. The key is each person who wishes to be an associate recognizes that he or she wants to deepen his or her relationship with God, with Christ, and that prayer and conversation about prayer will help the person live a more contemplative life. So we are happy to share the information with you and give Elizabeth, we can send you the link, and we can also talk to Mexico about sharing their information.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Suzanne. I think this is something that there is quite a lot of interest and desire, and I think we are going to follow it up. Thank you very much. And I think many people would have loved to know more and to see how one can become an associate. Thank you very much, Susanna. We'll talk more about that. I know time is not on our side. I don't know how about the interpreter. Can we take just 2 minutes of breathing and kind of pausing, and then I invite the next presenter. Dr. Gertrude is unable to connect. So which means we are going to have Dr. Sylvia and Sister Noreen and Namsisi as our last presenters. So I would like to invite Dr. Sylvia Nambiru. Sister Sylvia, Dr. Sylvia is the president of the Association of Alumni in Uganda, and but she's a lawyer by profession, and she holds very important positions in this country as a lawyer with a non-government organization she's managing. She has done a lot. She has received many awards nationally and even internationally because of what she has been doing, especially for women and vulnerable people in Uganda. Dr. Sylvia, you can say just a little bit more about yourself and then share with us the package you have brought for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sister. I hope now my slides are showing. Hello, sister?
They are very small.
They're very small.
Very small. I think don't go to speaker view.
Hey,
Also speaker
are they
view.
still very small?
No, your photo is appearing big and taking the size of the slide. Okay.
Okay, let me go back again and say share. You said my God. Slide by slide content. I don't know. Sister,
don't put gallery, not speaker view.
I don't know what is. So I remove my picture, my photo?
Yes, maybe.
Okay. Let me remove my photo.
Still it is taking the space. Doesn't I don't know. Goleti, can you help us with how she can change from speaker view to gallery, probably? Then we'll be able to see a bigger slide.
Sister, are you able to share from your side so that you share the one I gave you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, that if she can share with you and then you share then she as she talks.
Yeah. Sister, if you
Maybe
go to
you
your
can
email,
start talking as I look for it.
Yes, please go to your email and you'll be able to. But it would be good for me to speak when my slide is showing. The slide show. Okay, I will speak with whatever there is so that at least I don't waste more time. A very good morning to our participants in Canada and US, and a very good evening or afternoon to my sisters and brothers from Africa and Europe.
Stop sharing. First, stop sharing.
Okay, sister. Is it okay now, sister?
Yes.
Okay. If you can go to the slide which has my third slide of the alumni of the Sacred Heart Impact. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate the organizers for giving me the opportunity to make a presentation on the impact of alumni of the Sacred Heart on the communities. I also want to take this singular honor to pay and appreciate our mothers, the Sacred Heart Sisters, all those who are attending today and those who are not able to attend, for the opportunity of the Sacred Heart education. When I was doing my master's in development studies, majoring in social justice and majoring in human rights and social justice, we were given what we call foundational courses. And those make the cornerstone of studying the development studies master's. And so I want to equate it to the education that we received in the various schools that were managed and administered by the Sacred Heart Sisters, of course, led by the vision of St. Madeleine Sophie. So whereas we progressed in life as alumni, and went and acquired some secondary school education elsewhere, some university education, others technical education, will all agree with me, especially my sisters and brothers who are the alumni of the Sacred Heart schools, that the foundational education received from the Sacred Heart made a great impact on us as individuals. And it formed the foundation of our values and every aspect of our service in impacting the communities. And so my presentation is going to show you mainly in pictures
what we've been doing as alumni in our various spaces. But I would like you to pardon me if I concentrate more on the side of Africa, because maybe that's where I'm more familiar. But bearing in mind that what is being done in Africa is exactly being done in Europe and exactly being done in USA, Canada, and elsewhere. So I want to say that the alumni of the Sacred Heart schools, guided by the educational goals of the Society of the Sacred Heart, make a very significant impact on the society by acting as purposeful, compassionate leaders across diverse professional fields and community service roles. With a global network spanning over 40 countries, these alumni emphasize social justice, intellectual growth, and active faith to transform their communities, particularly by supporting education and advocating for the marginalized. Sister Betty, I request to go to the next slide, which is 2.0. Impact of the Sacred Heart alumni. I will start with the social justice and service. Sacred Heart alumni are driven to action, often leading initiatives that address urban poverty. They address social diversity in humanities and needs of the underserved communities. There is also promotion of justice in the various spaces that we do. So as we go day by day doing these particular activities, we make a great impact in the various spaces. But as you remember, we are driven by the values, the principles, and the character that was formed by our Sacred Heart education. The other way we impact the communities is through education and mentorship. Many alumni, in many aspects, are teachers. Many alumni return to their schools as mentors, support future leaders, especially the young generation, through the teaching roles, being on boards, and making sure that they contribute and enhance educational outcomes in the Sacred Heart schools. We will also note that many alumni are in leadership, professionally leading, or even reading in their communities. And we've seen the Sacred Heart alumni excelling in leadership roles across the divide. You'll find them in leadership in politics, you'll find them in education, you'll find them in healthcare, you'll find them in business, you find them in law, guided by strong ethical standards and impactful school mottos. And I'm going to use two mottos that I'm familiar with. For the Sacred Heart School of St. Charles Lwanga Kalungu, the motto that drives us is "Dare to be true." That means wherever an alumni is and is leading, whether as a CEO, whether as a leader in government, whether a member of parliament, they are driven by "Dare to be true." They will speak the truth, they will have integrity, they will have transparency, among others. Serving to grow and growing to serve. That is for Kangole SS. You've seen many alumni in Kangole SS leading in leadership, as I'm going even to show you down in my pictures. They are we have the Vice President of Uganda, we have ministers, we have members of parliament, we have church leaders, we have religious leaders, we have teachers, doctors, lawyers, and nurses. They are all leaders in their different spaces. Next slide. So I give you some pictures of those in leadership. And in one of those pictures, we see Reverend Sister Noena Namsisi receiving a recognition award from UWASHA for her outstanding service in leadership and education in Uganda. And now she's at the council of the Religious Council of the Sacred Heart in Rome. That is outstanding, and that is very impactful. The next picture we are seeing is the picture of the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Jessica Alupo. She was then sharing a light moment with the girls of Kangole. Very impactful. On the day I received the the Diamond Jubilee Medal. It was the vice president that presided over the function, representing the president. The other area of impact by the Sacred Heart alumni is philanthropy. In the picture there that I have picked, I've picked Honorable Esther Nyakon Devina. And Honorable Nyakon Esther is a Minister of State in the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development in charge of labor. Honorable Esther there is very impactful in terms of her philanthropy work. And on that day, she was presiding as a guest of honor at the launch of the fundraising drive of St. Charles Rwangakalung Chapel, which has since been opened. I want also to quote, because the alumni in the community finance, financial aid, educational program, and ensuring that the education, the Sacred Heart education remains accessible. I want to quote one of the alumni. She says, I give to the Sacred Heart, and I'll continue to do so, because the school is a place of women to grow, to be independent, while still being cared for and nourished. Sacred Heart, to me, means a place where learning is all-encompassing and girls gain the tools to change the world. That was a quotation from Georgetown University by one of the alumni. Alumni through networking, global networking, they impact. And I want to quote a mask as an example of a big network of the Sacred Heart schools. The World Association is a global network of graduates from Sacred Heart sister schools and those connected to this mission. It connects members worldwide through conferences, community services, and business opportunities. Then we have replicas at different national levels. We have the one of Uganda Association of the Sacred Heart Alumni Washer, to which I'm a president, and others that have served, like Rosemary, who spoke before me. It started as a simple idea, and look at how it came. A simple idea preached to us by the then President Emeritus Amin in 2010 during her visit to Uganda. She was then the president of Amaska. She devoted time and effort to say the idea and associating with Amaski. And as you will see in my pictorial below, what has been impactful to the various schools where we come from. The Congo Sacred Heart Alumni, as you can see, the Congo Sacred Heart Alumni is a national association of former students from educational institutions founded by missionaries of the Sacred Heart. So, and many others that are similar to these particular ones that I've given as an example. And how can we continue as Sacred Heart to be of impact? And especially now that we are forming the province of Africa. As alumni, in that picture that you see, the alumni were attending the opening of the school chapel that they had contributed to. And we have to stay engaged. Alumni serve as inspiring role models to communities of purpose-driven women or men whose lives reflect the values of our goals and criteria of the spirit of the Sacred Heart. Alumni should be involved with the schools and with one another in a meaningful and innumerable ways, socially, spiritually, professionally, and philanthropically. We have to, now we have been talking about becoming associates. We have to be engaged. Alumni boards and young alumni council leaders shape the school's future. Plus, alumni can engage as mentors to students, as events participants, and of course, as part of a lifelong sisterhood. This deep involvement creates an enduring foundation of our community and has a profound effect on the students who are the future leaders of our various communities. We move on to the next. We support the funds of the Sacred Heart schools and society. We need to invest in the fund for the Sacred Heart to support ongoing school developments and community philanthropy. This we can do annually, and each contribution, however small, provides vital, flexible resources which benefits students and educators during the current school years. It can enhance academic innovation, arts, athletics programs, and enabling faculty development, among others. The gift or pledge to alumni that the alumni gives from the heart makes the lifelong gift of the Sacred Heart education more accessible for more girls from a wide range of economic backgrounds, especially those that are socially disadvantaged, so that they can achieve their educational dreams. We need to add to the legacy, to the alumni, especially when we are involved in leadership, in the communities, contributing to monuments, and all school projects as need arises. We are creating legacies. What we do in our various spaces, when we impact and receive awards, we are leaving legacies. And that legacy is not ours alone. It is credited to the foundation education of the Sacred Heart. Gross, the endowment fund for the Sacred is similar to the other one where I've mentioned already, to provide financial. So those pictures can give you the impact of the Sacred Heart. I may not have time to read them, but you can see there we have the Provincial Superior, Reverend Sister Anna Maria Nankusu, who were at St. Charles Rwangaka Girls Training Center, and the minister. So all those are acts of impact. And then I also proudly represent that picture of me being honored with the Diamond Jubilee Medal on the 8th of March 2026 for the role in promoting justice for women and girls in Uganda. The other small picture that you are seeing, it's not small, but it's slightly smaller. That is the President Emeritus, Rosemary Sembadje, in our annual visits to the schools. And other pictures of a mosque as a community. Our core values driving our impact is the personal and active faith in God. We encourage a lived faith expressed through daily actions, guiding decisions with integrity, compassion, and purpose. The other core value is a deep respect for intellectual values. Alumni return to mentor future leaders, serving on boards and teaching, ensuring the mission of the Sacred Heart Schools continue to shape the empowerment of women and girls and men. A social awareness that impels action. We foster sensitivity. It is a core value to injustice and inequalities in our communities, inspiring proactive efforts to create a more just and human society, a world where everyone can coexist and live peacefully. We build a community as a Christian value, emphasizing collaboration, service, and solidarity, supporting others and contributing meaningfully for the common good. We encourage in our values personal growth in an atmosphere of wise freedom. We have to encourage self-discipline among us, responsibility, moral independence with a supportive and value-centered environment. So, alumni have been impactful and transformative. We are represented in 40 countries. We offer over 10,000 plus community service hours, increase in educational access, leadership roles. You can count 2,000 and above and beyond in leadership roles in various spaces. I would like to conclude with Bible verses and sharing lessons from the scriptures. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Isaiah 54:13, all your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. My lesson here is that the Sacred Heart Sisters, driven by the spirit of the St. Madeleine Sophie, our mothers taught us, introduced us to God, acts of good works, discipline among many attributes. We have grown and we have not departed from this training. And they are proud of us in our various spaces. Deuteronomy 15:7 is a long one. If among If among you one of your brothers should become poor, any of your towns within your land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not harden your heart or shut your hand against the poor brother, but you shall open your hand to him and lend him sufficient for his need, whatever it may be. I'll stop there and give you the lesson. The lesson in this verse is that it reminds us to have empathetic heart towards others, especially the poor and vulnerable. As offsprings of the Sacred Heart sisters who have given their all to serve the vulnerable communities, we invest in education. We are all called to have a philanthropic approach to our work in our various spaces. I want to end by showing you the pictures. You will see them when you get the slide. In the various spaces of Amaski, in the various spaces of Congo alumni, the good colors of Mexico, the colors of the Sacred Heart, Kalungu, and many more that you will enjoy seeing. We are all moving forward together in one heart. May God bless you. I thank you for listening.
Wow. Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Sylvia Nambiru, for taking us through the impact alumni are making, not only in Uganda, but globally. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. So now I would like to, I see hands already, maybe they are the old hands. Because of time, if Dr. Sylvia, you don't mind, I would like to invite Sister Noelena to conclude the presentation.
No
and then
problem,
we can
sister.
have, no problem. Okay.
Yes, sister.
Yes, and if anybody has questions, we can always use the various platforms we have and exchange and talk about this. So, is Sister Norena around?
Yes, I am around. What about Gertrude?
Gertrude has challenges with the internet.
Oh.
She has been trying and trying. Has she succeeded to come on? No, haven't seen her. So, which means we can have her presentation another time. So we would like to invite Sanowerena to take us through what she has prepared, especially in relation to collaborators, the teachers we have, the educators in our schools. You are most welcome, Sanowerena. They have already introduced you, Sister Dr. Sylvia. I don't need to reintroduce you again. Maybe for the sake of those who don't know who is Sister Nowerena, she's a Ugandan RSCJ who is now serving at the Generalate at our mother house in Rome as a member of the General Council. She was an educator here before she went to Rome for many years, and she served in various capacities as a leader and as an educator and a formator. So, Sister Noelena, you are most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can see my slide. Is it? Oh. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
I'm deeply honored to be here this afternoon. Thank you to the coordinator. Thank you to each one of you for being present to this wonderful, wonderful occasion. I was given to give the summary of what has been talked about today, I think, because the topic of collaboration and networking really is the summary. It is about what we have been doing actually today. So I begin with collaboration. To collaborate means to work together. Basically, in simple English, to work on a common task, to complete it together with a common goal. It's basically about shared responsibility. And this we do not only in institutions or globally, but beginning from our own homes. We must learn to collaborate with our families and then move forward. The key points are about communication. Communication, cooperation, coordination, and shared goals. And I just want to give you a quick example of today's meeting, gathering. We had communication, great communication from our coordinator. She was very clear to each one of us, presenters. She guided us, gave us topics. So we cooperated. We were coordinated. And today we are sharing our fruits of the discussion. To collaborate means we must be interdependent, to share ideas, to share strategies, plans, responsibilities, and each person must play their role. The picture you have in front on the screen of a boat, that is the image I'm taking, that each person must play their role. If not, there will be an imbalance and the boat will sink. But if each person plays the part they are supposed to play, it will remain in balance and it will move. And that's what is expected of each one of us, Sacred Heart educators, to keep our boat in balance. Collaboration means we build communities with values, Christian values. And we are called co-creators of a successful world, of a successful institution. We are invited to be deeply rooted in commitment. And I think all of the people who have shared before me have emphasized that. There must be trust. If we trust one another, we shall collaborate. We shall work together with deep respect and love. Collaboration as a core value invites us to work as a group, as a community. There is a saying that many hands made light work. Even what you see in our simple ways from our own families, we must work together. If we are to harvest maize, if we are to plant and we do it as a group, it widens, it becomes bigger. So each one of us must participate and we must support the different activities that we engage in. There is a spiritual dimension of collaboration embedded in the values, the vision of Madeleine Sophie. Sophie's charism was very well elaborated by Maureen. I won't go back to that, but she invites us and our collaboration must be grounded in, first of all, clear communication. The picture you have here, has somebody clearly explaining, giving clear direction, giving clear movement. And we must also listen. Communication is a two-way. As I speak, another person is listening. There must be dialogue. There must be clarity and discernment. Each one of us, we must take time to reflect, to think, and then to be able to participate, to be able to contribute to the general good. And also it's a formation of relationships. Collaboration, what we need to see under collaboration is teamwork. There is nothing that can be successful of a group where there is no teamwork. We are invited to exchange ideas, to exchange whatever we have. We give and take. It's an exercise of give and take. We must be inspired in order to inspire other people. Sharing is part of collaboration. Support, trust, and then assisting where we see a need. You don't sit back and say, unless I'm called upon, but if you are a member, a part of the family, you see what needs to be done and you do it. And that finally, collaboration leads us to great success. Now, networking. What is to network? In simple terms. In simple terms, it means to build and maintain relationships, connections on a professional level, on a social level, on a spiritual level. Sacred Heart educators network is about connections, is about building relationships with a common mission. Our mission was clearly elaborated earlier on to discover the love of God and manifest it. That is that is what binds us together as a family. There is a picture here, I hope you can see it, of people almost tied together, intertwined. This is the world we want to live as Sacred Heart family. Sacred Heart family extends to alumni, to RSCJs, the sisters, to the associates, to the collaborators, to our families and friends, and we are spread all over the world. But the world is becoming smaller and smaller because we are networking. We are put together as a family in connection, in unity together. Educators connect. Today, we have connected with Canada. We have connected with US. In Italy, in Africa, Uganda, Congo. So this is what networking is about. That the world has become so small that we can no longer live on our own independently. We come together in conferences like this one, is part of networking. We engage in global exchange, virtually, physically, and we share, we collaborate with different projects. We share our mission of we share resources. Today is very clear evidence that we have resources spread around the world and we can bring them together to come and share about the mission. We participate in formation programs, in educational programs, business programs, and finally, share best educational practices. That is what actually builds us, that's what gives us a great wealth as a Sacred Heart family. We are very blessed that we have a wealth of relationships. Our collaboration and networking is embedded from Madeline Sophie. Sophie lived many years ago, but her legacy, her vision is still alive today. We still need to go back to the source of Madeline Sophie. She wanted from the beginning the members to collaborate, the members to network, not only in France where she was born or she started the congregation, but the world over. We are invited to build relationships that can foster growth, spiritual growth, intellectual growth, commitment to justice. We have a shared mission that gives us a specific identity. And this is what makes us feel at home wherever we go because we are connected to the Sacred Heart family. If Sarah is to come to Africa, she will be at home. If any of us is to go to UK and you meet Sacred Heart, you are part of the family and you feel at home. So it provides a unifying factor, a framework for us across countries. Networking is not just on a professional level, but it is grounded in mission, in life, to touch the heart, to provide holistic education based on philosophy of education, as Josephine in the beginning also took us through that part. We are intertwined. Networking means we are united. We are interconnected. And we are moving towards being transformed. Once transformed, we shall transform others. And as Sacred Heart sisters, we have core components, different faces of the same reality. There are 4 gateways that the chapter 2024 has given us, through which we embrace our mission more and more deeply, through education. And that's what we are all engaged in. As we educate, we form people. As we educate, we also touch their spiritual well-being. We invite people to take care of their home, of their land, of the earth, and that is justice, peace, and integrity of creation. So all of this is part of what we share globally in our networks. Briefly, I want to say, what is the purpose of networking? What do we gain Because many times we say, if I do this, what will I benefit? Benefit one, it strengthens our mission and identity. By working together, educators deepen our understanding of Sacred Heart values. We keep the mission alive, consistent across different schools, countries, and cultures. We share best practices. When we hear how things are done in one country, in Congo, it will help Uganda. What is happening with the associates in Canada will help UK, and continuously like that. Networking also develops our professional growth. When we meet with the people in conferences, our minds change. Our perspectives are broadened. We develop leadership skills. The exposure is very beneficial. It gives us new perspectives. We stop to say, my mother is the best cook. We begin to see that there is a wealth of values across the planet. We educators, we learn that through formal training, we learn, we get knowledge, we share values, but also most importantly, we can learn from each other's real lived experiences. And this is where sometimes it is very important to have physical meetings that you interact with one another. But even online, today is not possible, but online we can have group discussions where we interact with one another and we receive more than sometimes we give. So it's a give and take. Then as another value that we receive is building a global perspective. Because we are Sacred Heart spread all over the world, we have the advantage of getting to know from different cultures, from different people. We connect across the whole world, and this reinforces our global awareness. Today, the world, there is so much in the world, but we can no longer stop. We have to go outside the box. And this is what is expected of us as educators to pass on to the people we are educating, to global awareness. And this we get through our networking and collaborating. Supporting innovations, problem solving. If we remain in our own setting, we get challenges, and we may think we are the only ones suffering this. But when you hear what is happening in India, you realize that we have a common challenges addressed differently. Of course, we borrow a leaf from others, and then we also adjust according to our own context. Networking fosters a sense of community. Today, I think by the end of this conference, each one of us will feel connected in a bigger way. We come together in a circle. Networking means when we come together, each one has a contribution to make. We listen to one another. We form relationships. We create among each other confidence and hope. And when we hear each one basing on our own respect, we trust that these relationships create something new among us. There is power in networking, and this we must never underestimate. If we are networked, if we collaborate, we are powerful. We are powerful women and men on this planet because of the outreach, the communal outreach. Our education mission, wherever we are, we must perceive it as both deeply rooted in tradition, but at the same time also evolving to meet modern global challenges. As educators, basing on the vision of Madeline Sophie, we are invited to give holistic education. And holistic education, we shall only be able to do it if we network with others. If we hear what is happening elsewhere, then it also broadens our own way of doing things. Collaboration models relationships that are desirable for human living. The world is admiring us because we have a wealth of connections. And that one you cannot trade for anything else. And our aim is to be a witness to a world that is so divided, that is so much in conflict. But for us, if we get united, we shall show the world that we are different, but the same family. We belong to the same family. Collaboration and networking are not options for Sacred Heart educators. It is a must. We can no longer remain isolated. We must make a step. Wherever we are, we must make a step and embrace one another. We must share globally and act locally. As educators, we must embody the values that will make a future of our generations different. The world is changing very fast, so must we. Forming a living community that educates the whole person is something the world needs, and we have a lot to contribute to society. Collaboration and networking means teamwork. It means participation. It means shared knowledge, values, and support. And this is our greatest wealth. We are partners. We are partners in mission. And our partnership invites us to learn from one another, to plan. Learn from each other for performance, better performance, quality performance, teamwork. And finally, this will lead us to great success. Collaboration and networking is a partnership. We are educational partners. That's even the language we use. Our partners in mission, because we are connected. And I'm almost through. What are the characteristics to show that we are actually collaborating? We are also networking. One, we must be mission driven. Our collaboration, our networking must be based on the mission. It must be inclusive. We must go global. Global means we don't isolate. We don't say for us we can only share with India and we cannot share with Ireland. It is inclusive. We must learn to reflect, to discern, and to be able to share. We must also it must be relational. Building relationships is very critical for human survival. Must be cross-cultural learning. It's about learning. We do not only impose our way, but we go with respect and we say, this is how we do it. How do you do it yourself? And then we integrate experiences. We must be committed to the works of justice and service, commitment to service. And that's the point there is, it is not only limited to Sacred Heart institutions. Networking invites us to go outside the box. We are very good, yes, as a Sacred Heart family, but let us also benchmark with other institutions. And what we bring from there also gives a wealth to the general good. And finally, I want to say, as Sacred Heart educators, we must have a sense of gratitude and appreciation for who we are, for our identity, for what we have learned, for what we have. And this is the joy, deeply joyful, because we have much more than sometimes we know. So there is a sense of gratitude that must also be part of who we are. We are joyful people. Pope Francis was talking about the joy of the gospel. We must also go around talking about the joy of our mission as Sacred Heart educators. And that is strength. Partnership, collaboration, and networking is strength, is unity in strength. And that one we must never forget. And it will lead us finally to be educators who stay mission-driven, who continuously improve our practices in whatever we do, will remain connected to a larger family of the Sacred Heart rather than remaining as an isolated province, as an isolated continent. We are part of a global family, and we can talk of the one world where we belong and we are one people. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Sister Norena. Wow. Every presentation leaves us breathless. Thank you very much for this sharing your collaborators, and I hope all our teachers here have heard. And so we'll take on your suggestions. Now I have, I don't know whether you can be patient a bit, because it seems Dr. Gertrude is back and would like to share. Dr. Gertrude? Dr. Gertrude? Dr. Gertrude? Maybe she's not connected again. So now, because of that, want to really put closure to today's presentation. I wanted 3 hours, and it's coming to 3 hours. And I would like to invite the provincials present to say a word, at least thanking all the participants and the panelists as the leadership of our 2 provinces. And on my own behalf, I would like to thank each one of you for your patience, for your listening, for your participation. We are sorry we are not giving much time for questions, but as I said, we can use the various platforms to share our questions and to respond to them where possible. And if God willing, we can have another conference in the future where more questions can be attended to. And we are very happy that this has been realized. We have been looking forward to it since we began the preparation of becoming our new province of Africa. And we wanted to make this movement together, not just as RSCJs, but together with all our collaborators, our associates, and alumni. And though many people could not join because of the limited numbers, we know they are going to receive the audio, and they will be able to access what has been shared, and they will have opportunity another time when we can have a Zoom that can have more participants, maybe a webinar in that matter. So we are very, very happy, especially to our friends from the United States and Canada, and to all our alumni from Chad, from DRC, from Kenya, from Uganda, and everywhere, and for Sister Noelena, and everybody who has been able to join from Rome. Thank you very much. As the province of Africa, we are becoming the new province next month on Saturday, May 13th. That's when the new province of Africa is realized. And we hope we'll have online participation. We hope many of you will be able to join us as you have joined today. And before we conclude, I would like to invite our first province of Africa, Sister Marijane. I hope she's around to just say a word and greet the participants. And then Sister Redemptor or the Sister Brandine can also say a word and we conclude. Thank you very much. Sister Marijane, are you there? Sister Marijane. Okay, seems she's not on. And the Sister Redemptor? Sister Redemptor? Sister Redemptor.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
I'm on, so if people are hearing me, let me go. Let me speak. I think Elizabeth can't hear me.
We can hear you, Redemptor.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Elizabeth, and your team for organizing. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every member on this platform who has participated in this conference. And so I request that I say a word.
Blandini there.
Okay.
We cannot hear anything.
Betty, unmute original audio.
Oh. Okay.
So shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay. My vote of thanks to each and every panelist.
We are finishing. Maybe you represent another time.
To Sister Josephine Basaula, thank you for grounding us in the profound philosophy of the Sacred Heart education. You reminded us today that to truly transform a child, we must educate from the soul, ensuring that our mission is not just a method, but a living expression of our deepest values. And thank you, Sister Maureen, for your insights on living our mission into the future. You have given us a clear compass for the days ahead. Your words have challenged us to find new ways to make our mission more and more attractive, renewing and inspiring to the people we serve. And most importantly, you have reminded us to keep ourselves open to the enlivening of the Holy Spirit, thus allowing the divine breath to constantly refresh us in our works and service. I thank Ms. Sarah. Thank you very much for your beautiful testimony on being an associate of the Sacred Heart. We are indeed privileged to have heard from you what it means to be an associate. You reminded us of the incredible power of continuity and the importance of remaining open to the charism of St. Madeleine Sophie Barra, whose vision of discovering and revealing God's love continues to flow through your unique vocation as associates, reaching where RSCJs may not reach. Thank you very much. And Dr. Sylvia Namviru, we thank you for you have inspired us by your presentation on the impact of alumni on our communities or in our communities wherever they are. You have reminded us that our alumni have a profound responsibility and a vital role in furthering our mission within society, and thus being engaged as agents of positive change around the world in our communities. Sister Naulina, thank you very much for opening our eyes and ears and hearts to the importance of collaboration and networking as educators, Sacred Heart educators, and as a family of the Sacred Heart, to try and keep in balance the boat of the Sacred Heart education and mission, and hence aspire to inspire others. Thank you for highlighting the values and power of networking, collaboration with a purpose rooted in the charism and mission of the Sacred Heart. Lastly, but not least, Elizabeth and Nakato, thank you for your graceful facilitation and moderation, helping the conference to flow smoothly. Thank you very much for that service. To the organizing team, the technical team, We do appreciate your service. Thank you very much. We wouldn't have pulled through without your help. Special thanks to our interpreters. Thank you for sharing your gift of language with us. You have enabled us to follow and understand the presentation in our respective languages. Thank you very much. Finally, to all the participants, thank you for your active participation. You have turned these topics into a living conversation. Thank you very much. And as we depart or as we close this conference, may we carry the flame of the Sacred Heart in our hearts, fostering a world of love around us. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Sister Redemptor, representing the provincials, for your summaries and your thankfulness to all our panelists, our presenters, and to all the participants. We thank you once again. We thank each one of you for your participation, for your presentation, those who have presented to us. And again, I would like to repeat, we will be sending you the audio recording, and those who need the hard copies, definitely will share with you the hard copies. And if there are any questions, we can always interact using the various platforms. Thank you very much. We wish each one of you a wonderful weekend and every good blessing God can give us, each one of us. Thank you very much. Au revoir.